Hello, everyone, dear authors and invited guests. Welcome to Technical Session 6B. Myself, Ayush Garg, and this session would be moderated by me. On behalf of Global Knowledge Research Foundation, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the 7th World Conference on Smart Frames in System Security and Sustainability, WS4 2023, London, UK. The 7th edition of the conference is being organized in a hybrid mode. The physical event was held in London, UK on 21st August 2023, and the virtual event is being held through Zoom on 23rd and 24th August 2023. I hope you will enjoy the knowledgeable and interactive session today. In this session, we have six presentations. Each presenter will be given 12 minutes for the presentation and 3 minutes for question and answer. On 10th minute, I will raise a gentle reminder. There is another request to all the participants that you all stay connected us till the closing remarks. If you have any query or update, then you can write it to me in the chat box. Just before we start the session, I would like to introduce to the chair of this session, Dr. S.M. Hassan Mahmood received a PhD degree in computer science and technology from the University of Electronic Science and Technology of China. He is working as an assistant professor with the Department of Computer Science, American International University, Bangladesh. His research interests include machine learning, deep learning, bioinformatics, drug discovery, and pattern recognition. I welcome you, sir. Our next chair is Dr. Ruchi Nanda, is working as a head Department of CS and IT, IIS, deemed to be University, Jaipur, India. He has actively contributed in teaching and R&D from the last 17 years. Her area of interest and research are in big data, computing, machine learning, and database. I welcome you both to this conference. I request Dr. Ruchi Nanda ma'am if she want to introduce herself for 1 minute.
Hello, namaskar everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Dr. Ruchi Nanda. You have given my introduction only. Heading the Department of Computer Science and IT, IIS Deemtube University, Jaipur, Rajasthan, India. See, I first of all, I would like to thank the committee for this for calling me as session chair in the conference. So what about myself? I have a specialization in big data Hadoop. I'm taking cloud computing, database management system, NoSQL, and machine learning. And hoping this conference will be fruitful for all the participants and it will be a great success for the conference organizers. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, moving towards the first paper, I would like to call Mahmood Fakhrul present his paper on assessing network accounting management approaches in the infrastructure and information technology sector, case study in Indonesia. You are open to start your presentation. Please do so.
Okay, thank you. Please take a minute. Okay, thank you. My name is Muhammad Farouk Safitra. I will present about the paper Cyber Resilient lesson. About the paper assessing network accounting management approach in the infrastructure and information technology sector, a case study in Indonesia. Okay, in abstract, in the area of infrastructure and information technology, network accounting management is essential because it provides effective resource allocation, data integrity, and financial monitoring. Using a solid case study methodology, This study gives a true analysis of network accounting management approach in the unique setting of Indonesia. This research attempt to identify the strange flow and opportunity for development in network accounting process by a complete examination of suggested activity, scoring using a metric, and implementation observation. In the results, provide insightful information that can help organization improve their network accounting management strategy, face obstacle head-on, and seize opportunity. Okay. In the introduction, this research paper focused on network accounting management approach in the infrastructure and information technology sector in Indonesia. In the examine the strengths, flow, and opportunity for development in network accounting process through a case study methodology. The paper provide insight for organization to enhance their network accounting management strategy, improve resource allocation, strengthen financial control, and enhance data security measure. It also discuss recommended activity for network accounting management and evaluate their effectiveness using a metric score evaluation. In the network effective practice, this practice include asset, device accounting, financial data security, risk assessment, contract compliance, network capacity management, and more. By implementing this practice, organization can improve financial control, optimize resource allocation, strict data security measure, and enhance operational efficiency. In the research method, it's provide insight for organization to enhance network accounting management strategy, improve resource allocation, strict financial control, and enhance data security measure. The study utilized a case study methodology and include a metric score evaluation of recommended activity for network accounting management. Okay, in the result in this question, about the analysis, incorporate the finding from the metric score evaluation, implementing observation, and suggest the activity for network accounting management. The goal is to provide a comprehensive understanding of the advantage and disadvantage of current network accounting practice and to identify area for improvement. The discussion also highlight the importance of asset or device accounting, information classification, network control, vendor contract compliance, and risk assessment in enhancing network accounting management. By addressing this area, organization can improve financial control and etc. Okay, and the next, the study will give Indonesia organization useful information that will help them improve their network accounting management strategy. Organization can improve financial control, optimize resource allocation, and etc. The study technique use effective network practice and analysis discussion will be included in the following section of this paper. This will include a focus on suggested action for network accounting management and assessment of metric score and observation from the application of accounting management in sector organization. The article will be concluded by summarizing the major conclusion and repercussion. And this article provide truth analysis network accounting management strategy in the infrastructure and IT industry with a particular emphasis on a case study carried out in Indonesia. The study finding highlight the significance of adopting sound network accounting procedure to achieve financial management, data security, and operational effectivity inside this organization. The evaluation of metric score, implementation observation, and analysis of suggested action reveal both the advantage and disadvantage of network accounting procedure, asset or device accounting, information classification, network control, vendor contract compliance, and risk assessment are all areas that need to be improved. By addressing this issue, firm will be able to allocate the resource more efficiently, improve data security, and bolster financial control. In the conclusion, this research paper provide comprehensive analysis about the accounting management strategy and infrastructure. The study highlight the importance of adopting sound network accounting procedure to achieve financial management, data security, and operational effectivity with organization. The evaluation of metric score, implementation observation, and analysis of suggested action reveal both the strength and weakness of network accounting practice area for improvement include asset or device accounting, information classification, network control, vendor contract compliance, and risk assessment. By addressing this area, organizations can optimize resource allocation, improve data security, and strengthen financial control. The finding of this study offer valuable insight for organizations to enhance the network accounting management strategy and improve the overall performance in this industry. This study will give Indonesia organization useful information that will help them improve their network accounting management strategy. And this study technique use effective network practice and analysis discussion will be included in the following section of this paper. This will include a focus suggested action for network accounting management and assessment of metric score and observation from the application of accounting management in sector organization. The article will be concluded summarizing the major conclusion and repercussion. And thank you everyone. And this is my presentation. Thank you.
I request Dr. Ruchi ma'am, if you have any question, you can openly do so for next 2 minutes.
Yes, yes. I have a question. Can you come to your conclusion? Like, you have written that you have assessed all the strategies. How you identify those strategies? How many papers you have reviewed for that? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yes.
Mr. Mohammed Fakrul.
Mr. Mohammed?
Yeah.
Can
Please
you
answer
please
the
tell me?
question which was asked by chair.
Yes. How many papers you have reviewed for assessing these strategies?
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, strategy in network accounting could refer to the development of plan and approach related to financial information system or accounting within organization or business network. This encompasses various aspects such as the collection, processing, and reporting of financial data. And my partner in the paper, she employee from the one the company about the strategy infrastructure. This my answer from your question.
No, I'm asking, have you reviewed some papers for this?
I'm sorry.
Have you reviewed some papers for this? Are you getting my point? Have you reviewed any research papers for the identification of these assessment strategies?
Sorry, your voice is cut off.
Okay, no issue. That's it from my side.
Thank you, ma'am and presenter. Moving forward, just a second. Now I would like to call S. Rajaprakash to present his paper on integral fuzzy measurement over the customer satisfaction in car manufacturing industry. You may please start your presentation. Moving forward, now I would like to call Murad to present his paper on protecting critical national infrastructure, an overview of cyber attack and countermeasures. You may please start your presentation.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Yes, Murad.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I would like to share my screen. Is it okay now?
Yes, Murad.
Okay, thank you a lot. I have 10 minutes, right?
Yes, you have 10 minutes.
Good. Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Murad. I am a student, master degree student from Princess Sumaya University for Technology in Jordan. Our paper today is protecting CNIs, an overview of cyber attacks and countermeasures. The CNIs are the critical national infrastructures. My papers, the authors of the papers are my colleagues from the university and the doctors that I'm working with. At first, we would like to introduce what is, how to define what are the critical national infrastructures. Everybody knows they are assets and services. They are crucial and critical for the modern societies. They are very important for the nation, for the country, to be stable, to be secure. And these infrastructures, these CNIs, increasingly depend on the digital technologies. As everybody knows that IT is involved in most the sectors in the nations, in any country, right? So the cyber attacks on these, they are coming more and more severe, and they are causing many damages and causing many losses of lives, sometimes and economic damages, and sometimes the reputation of the country. Because of those numerous attacks on these CNIs, we would like to introduce this paper to talk about these attacks. You hear me well? My voice is okay?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. So, as I told you, the research background is talking about the massive attacks that happened on the CNIs. And that's why the European countries has came up with something related to these attacks, and they wanted to be to put some directives and measurements about these to secure and protect these CNIs. This is the seed for this research. As we are seeing now, the CNI attacks are growing faster and faster and becoming more severe. As we are seeing that in 2022, the 40% of Microsoft detected that cyber attacks targeting CNIs, and the percentage is increasing highly and highly from 20% to 40% around the nations. So, because there are many researches actually about these things, but we had studied many researches related to this topic, but we found they are focusing on specific sectors, or they are not fully qualified or equipped with the international cooperation. What is the role of this international cooperation? And there is a limited focus on the latest trends, attacks, and many other reasons that targeted us to came up with this survey. So what is our research questions? The main questions for our research were, we are talking and inquiring about what are the common cyber attacks that are happening right now on the CNIs. What is the motive? What motivates these attacks? And other questions are, what they are the current countermeasures that the countries that are doing to protect their CNIs. So after all these questions, we would like to introduce the challenges to protect the CNIs. And the final question or final section is talking about the role of international cooperation between the countries to protect these CNIs. So the main contributions for our research is to help the organizations to understand the cyber attacks and the threats and how they can develop some effective security measures to protect their CNIs, and to help the researchers also to protect those critical infrastructures. Also, the research are contributing in improving security on the CNIs to face the cyber threats they are facing. So at the beginning, let's start with our contribution, with our research. The first thing we're talking about is the definition of the CNIs. The CNIs is, as the UK defined them, those critical elements of infrastructure, even they are facilities, systems, sites, properties, information, even people, they are called assets, networks, processes, and if any loss or compromise of which would result in major detrimental impact on the availability, delivery, or integrity of essential services. This could lead to severe economic or social consequences or loss of lives. So, because the critical national infrastructure is a definition that could be huge and wide, we might be thinking about dividing this definition into many sectors. So, CNI, what are they? CNIs, what are they? Are they many systems? And as we see from the definition, people, maybe properties, target systems, but they are in many sectors like energy, financial, transportation, water, health, communication, food, government. And let's talk about some attacks that happened, or type of the attacks that are happening on the CNIs. The most critical or the most severe attacks from all of these, they are many, and most of them are denial of service attacks, DDoS attacks. DDoS attacks can force the systems or the CNIs to stop their functions, and this is one of the critical issues that are facing, because sometimes if we are talking about the electricity, for example, if the electricity or the energy sectors that faced, for example, denial of service attack, DDoS attack, they would stop. The sector would stop. So if you're talking about stopping or cutting the electricity from a whole country, especially, for example, for inside the hospitals, it would be a major attack. And also, we're talking about data integrity attacks, APT attacks. They're advanced persistent threats. They're doing many attacks, massive attacks, incredible and advanced attacks on the CNIs, stealth attacks, phishing, and social engineering. Let's talk now about some of the massive attacks that happen in the future, and on the past, on some of the on those sectors. One of them, 2015, the Ukrainian power grid had faced an attack from some APTs. The attack was massive and disrupted many sectors from the electricity, and left many thousands of people without any power for several hours. Another attack that I think that most of you know this attack. It's a Stuxnet attack that happened on the Iranian nuclear power, nuclear program. They were working on it in 2010. The there no it was nothing except their uh, maybe stopped the nuclear program for the
Sorry
Iranian
for the
attack.
interruption, Murad, but you have left only 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. There are also too many attacks on transportation, like Ryuk ransomware, and also on the financial sector, like Bangladesh Central Bank.
I'm interrupting you. Can you explain your work?
Sorry? Sorry?
Can you explain what work you want to carry out?
The time? Sorry, because the voice is not clear. So the water sector is had faced many attacks also, the health sector. There is a patient died in 2020 because the a ransom attack on the because of the WannaCry attack actually. So what are the countermeasures that we could conduct to protect our CNIs? Many actually, but most critical of them are network security, access control, data encryption, incident response plan, and many others. So there are also some standards are available right now, like NIST SP 882, and maybe ISO that could help us to protect CNIs and many others. So our conclusion in this paper that CNIs are increasingly becoming targets of cyber attacks. Energy sector was the most affected. AVTs were the most. Current security measures are effective in preventing these attacks. So maybe we're directing to doing another researches about the examining the effectiveness of the cyber attacks on the CNI and the investigating on another motivations and more efficient countermeasures to protect those CNIs. That's it. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, can you please elaborate this future work, how you can proceed it further?
Sorry, ma'am, but your voice is not clear at all.
How we can improvise the solution?
The solution?
There is,
Excuse me,
there
ma'am.
is very solution.
Ma'am, your voice is
It's
ma'am, actually
cutting.
your voice is lagging. Can you please
Your
write
voice,
the
your
question
voice,
in the
your
chat
voice is
box?
cutting. This is not clear, unfortunately. How we can improvise the solution for this problem? Yeah, I was talking on the last thing that we're trying in the future to maybe to look. Let's open this slide. I was talking about in the future we're going to maybe to find some or more efficient countermeasures to protect these CNIs, and maybe the current countermeasures or the standards, the global standards like ISO, like NIST, actually they're not doing the right job totally. Maybe they can reduce the risk, but not to prevent the risk. Understand? Okay. Thank you very much.
Any more questions from your side?
Thank you very much.
Mr. Murad, there is one more question. Please answer that question from chat box.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. In future, we can narrow down this issue and further proceed. Topics is in demand. Yeah. Yeah, she's right. It's not a question, just a suggestion.
Sorry. Please consider that suggestion. Thank you so much, ma'am. Moving forward, now I would like
Thank you.
to again call Mohammed Fakroon to present his paper on the state of cyber resilience, achievements, and future direction. You may please start your presentation, Mr. Fakroon. Mr. Mohammed Fakroon.
Hello, hello. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm in Zoom T. Can I end the end because I'm the next Zoom. I'm the end the present because I'm
I was
present.
just saying, present the next paper which you have applied for, the state of cyber resilience, achievement, and future direction.
Hello, I'm present. I'm presenting on the next Zoom. Can I present in the end?
Okay, okay, okay,
Thank
okay.
you, thank you, thank you.
So next presenter would be Georgius. The paper title is The Value of Proactive Data for Intelligent Contracts. You may please start your presentation.
Yes. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So can you look at my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So nice to meet you all. My name is Georgios Stathis. I'm a PhD candidate at Leiden University. And the topic of today's conversation is the value of proactive data for I-contracts. This research paper is a collaboration between the 5 authors you see on the screen, and some of us, myself and Jaap van den Herik, work at Leiden University, and the 3 other authors are from TNO, the National Research Institute of the Netherlands. So the main problem that we're trying to approach and discuss is the following: how can we safeguard the legal needs of millions of people around the world? And at the moment, the world is facing a growing legal complexity, which is due to 2 main factors. The first one is the increasing number of judicial cases around the world, as well as the increasing complexity of technology. There is a huge backlog of judicial cases around the world. As an example, 100 million cases in Brazil and 40 million cases in India. And less than 50% of the people in the world are legally protected, according to the OECD, the Organization for Economic Development. So back in 1996, Professor Richard Susskind highlighted the paradox of reactive legal services. He said, well, for a long time now, the legal system has been more reactive than proactive, meaning that we do have a big amount of case law, and usually we're examining things that have happened in the past, but it wouldn't be more effective of us to be more proactive about it. And this is why we're examining a paradigm shift. He noticed first the paradigm shift in the legal industry and tradition that moves from reactive legal services to proactive legal services. And of course, with technology, we can leverage technology to have more proactive services. And he finds technology to be an amplifier. So this complexity is creating the need for legal technology solutions, which, as he says, in general, they will be more proactive than reactive. One legal tech example is the field of intelligent contracts, or I-contracts. And what we mean by an intelligent contract, we mean any contract that is fully executable without human intervention or with minimal human intervention. And to understand the field of I-contracts, we need to look at how contracts began. We have examined 3 revolutions in contracts. The first one was when we moved from the physical contracts, that is signing a paper, to digital contracts, that is e-signature and document management, and then how we moved from the digital contracts to the smart contracts, which are basically contracts executable by code. And now we're moving towards the third revolution of contract automation, which is how we move from smart contracts to i-contracts that basically combine all of the previous revolutions. They can be both physical and digital and smart. In our past research, we developed two ontologies, the Onassis ontology and the enriched bowtie ontologies. Basically, the whole point of our research is to make implicit data explicit, and we identified that the communications or conversation and risk data that are usually preceding the drafting of a contract and the communication data are shared from contractors to a legal expert, and the risk data are analyzed by a legal expert, are usually implicit. So we said, okay, how can we make them this data explicit? So as an input, we identified that relevant data, and as an output, we have demonstrated that we are actually able to generate a safe contract with less involvement from a legal expert. This is a unique solution in the literature because according to the Legal Complex, one of the largest databases, if not the largest database of legal tech solutions in the world, there's around 10K legal tech solutions today. 590 of them focus on contract automation, 51 of those focus on communications automation, and 50 of those on risk automation, and none of them is focusing on the combination of communications and risk automation. This is an example of the Onassis ontology. This is not the focus of this paper, so I will not go in depth. And this is the example of the risk management ontology that we developed. The most important thing for this paper is that this risk management ontology is based on the bowtie method. The bowtie method was developed in 1979 in chemical research for the analysis of hazards. And over time, it has been used by Shell, the oil and gas corporation, as well as in in environments with that are usually in critical industries that have high risk management requirements. And basically what the method says is that by identifying a hazardous event, we can identify its risk causes as well as its consequences and define proactive controls and reactive controls to prevent the event from happening, or in case it happens, to mitigate it. Now, in relation to the paradox of reactive legal services and the paradigm shift from reactivity to proactivity, we can see here that basically we're moving more from the right side to the left side. Therefore, what matters is the proactive controls. And in previous research, there is not a lot of research that has been done, especially in the context of legal tech and i-contracts, in relation to how can we leverage proactive controls to have more proactivity within the automation of a contract. Therefore, our research question is, to what extent is it possible to generate quality proactive control data to improve an intelligent contract? And by proactive control data, we mean the event. How do we identify an event? How do I identify a cause? And how do I identify a proactive control? So in the literature review, we start from the School of Preventive and Proactive Law, or PPL, that began in 1950 in the US. Over time, it developed in two offsprings, the therapeutic jurisprudence and the proactive law movement. The preventive law says that basically we can prevent legal risks from becoming legal problems. Therapeutic jurisprudence says that it's basically healthy to do that because we have less legal problems. In the same way we go to a doctor for a proactive checkup, we can also go to a lawyer for a proactive legal checkup. And proactive law focuses on the application of preventive law in contracts and adds on top of the preventive dimension as well as the promotive dimension of what is a good and desirable goal. Over time, with higher focus on risk management, also the legal risk management was developed in the 2000s, and it expanded the theory of preventive proactive law. Recently, the movement of the school of thought of preventive proactive law has been connected with legal technology. One of the most important points within that intersection is the legal design and visualization. For example, on the right, we have a contract which is visual. This is the essence of legal design, especially within the context of PPL. So how can we help people understand visually a contract instead of having to read multiple sentences? And over time, this has been applied. They have been trying to apply that also in smart contracts, because the issue with smart contracts is that they are executable by code, and it's hard for normal people that haven't coded the smart contract to know what is the code about. And in general, we do see here the connection between proactivity and technology, and literature mentions that indeed, as time is passing, Richard Susskind is more right than wrong, and we do see more the connection between proactivity and technology. Now, just generating and identifying proactive data is not enough. We also should be able to assess them qualitatively. And one perspective that we can look at in relation to the identification of proactive data, essentially, when we're saying, I think that this event is happening and that this is the risk cause, and therefore this is the proactive control measure, this is structured as an argument. So we can analyze we can assess its quality, the quality of a proactive data based on the argument that led to its identification. And this is this approach is similar to the approach that philosophers have used in constitutional law theory as well as contract law theory, because in the end of the day, when we're talking about legal norms and legal rules, there is in general, in its depth, the law is very ontological and very empty. It's very hard to grasp it. So it's quite chaotic, as we can see in the right image. So the movement of legal pragmatism says that, well, we need to move from that ontological thing that we cannot really grasp, that it's hard to understand and explain, to something more epistemic, to something more normative. And the more technical it is, the better it is, because we can manage it better. Therefore, the order from the chaos. And in essentially within the school, and essentially when we're talking about argumentation, we need to we have the opportunity to examine arguments nowadays with the logocratic method, which is the most advanced method of analyzing the relative strength of arguments. This is a method that is being developed at Harvard University from Scott Brewer on the right, who is touching upon the tradition of inferential reasoning that has been developed by Charles Sanders Peirce, who has, of course, studied the ancient Greeks, starting with, of course, the pre-Socratic philosophers, but of course, Aristotle was the first one to identify logic and systematize the study of logic. Well, what does inferential reasoning say? Basically, there is three modes of inferences: deduction, induction, and abduction. And deduction is how we make a specific conclusion based on general facts. Induction is how we make a general conclusion based on specific facts. And abduction is how do we make a best available explanation for a set of observed facts. And here's an example of deduction. Enthymeme 1, an enthymeme is a syllogism with assumed premises. So all men are mortal, Socrates is a man, therefore the hypothesis that Socrates is mortal. In relation to induction, we can see that we have a set of data, X is a man, X is mortal, therefore we can make a hypothesis that all men are mortal, and Socrates is a man, therefore Socrates is mortal, probabilistically speaking. And the abduction works with explanations. So we have an explanation. It might rain today. It might rain today because the weather said so, or because we see clouds on the sky, and it is most likely that it will rain today because the weather said so, and I see clouds on the sky. Therefore, it is most probable that it will rain today, which is also probabilistic.
Mr. Georges,
Yes.
sorry for the interruption, but you only left with 1 minute. Kindly conclude your presentation.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I will, please give me 2 to 3 minutes. The three goals of the presentation is therefore to generate proactive control data, understand the impact of proactive control data, and evaluate the quality of proactive control data. In order to examine the impact of proactive control data in contract drafting, it is very difficult to have 10 lawyers that write in the same style. So we're going to use large language models that have a similar style. The four methodologies we're using is a freelance agreement as a case study, a prototype development to generate proactive control data, LLM experiment to examine its impact, and a the application of the logocratic method to assess the quality of proactive control data. This is the case study we're using. So here we have applied the enriched bow tie ontology on the payment risk of a freelancer agreement. We can see the event is no payment, the cause is lack of deadline, quality objection, and two proactive control examples is having a timeline and having quality control criteria. The prototype development is validated, and we can see that we can indeed generate and isolate proactive control data. The LLM experiment shows that if we give two different prompts to an LLM machine, the first one is write freelance contract, and the second is write freelance contract with specific PCD1, PCD2, PCD3. We can see a 90% content divergence with 10 content removals and 14 content improvements. And the application of the logocratic method is possible. Here is the deductive inferential reasoning application on the no payment example. Here is the inductive application, and here is the abductive application. And talking about the results, the PCD generation and isolation is feasible. The impact of PCD is significant based on the LLM experiment. The quality assessment based on the logocratic method is possible, and the value of PCD is high, both in terms of quantitative and qualitative aspects. Therefore, the answer to our research question is that yes, indeed, the generation is quantitatively possible based on their identification, but that is not sufficient. Of course, we also need to examine the impact, and that is high. Therefore, they should be explicitly mentioned in any attempt to draft a contract, whether it's a computational or a human-based attempt. And number three, their quality assessment is possible based on the quality of the argumentation preceding the identification of proactive control data. The novelty of the research is that it has demonstrated how is it possible to quantitatively and qualitatively analyze PCD. It is the first research that is focusing on the value of PCD for I contracts. We have demonstrated an innovative LLM experiment to reduce writing divergence, and it is the first application of the logocratic method on I contracts and risk management. And in further research, we will focus on that direction. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'm open to answer them. Is there any question?
Have any question? Mr.
Um,
Georges, check the chat box.
I see a question in the chat from Dr. Rutsinanda. Which data you used for validation? Please answer in the chat if you're referring to result number 1 in relation to the prototype development validation, because that is the only time I use the word validation. Are you referring to the data in relation to result number 1? I'm expecting to see your reply in the chat so that I can answer your question. Overall analysis. Well, overall analysis, okay, we have 4 data sources. Number 1, the literature review, and we have used, I think, around 57 sources in relation to that. Yes, it is 57 sources. In relation to result number 1, we coded the ontologies. Therefore, we have used the data that we developed by programming in turtle files. In relation to result number 2, we have used data generated from ChatGPT as an example of an LLM technology. And in relation to result number 3, we have generate data based on the case study by applying the logocratic method on the case study of the freelancer example, as I have demonstrated to you on the slides already. Do you have any more questions?
No, thank you. Very good presentation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am and presenter. Moving forward to the last presentation, would like to call Mohammed Fakhrul to present his paper on the state of cyber resilience, achievement, and future directions. You may please start your presentation.
Okay, I will present my paper.
Sorry.
Hello. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay. Hello everyone, I'm Muhammad Fakhrul Safitra from Telkom University Indonesia. In this paper, my title, the stage of cyber resilient advancement and future direction. And in the abstract, the section of the abstract, this body of knowledge offer a truth, a comprehensive of cyber resilience, including its structure, method, measurement, and long-term implication to combat the increasingly sophisticated nature of cyber tech. Cyber resilience is a constantly changing condition. The framework component the threat identification, protection, detection, reaction, and recovery law organization to manage risk and defend again cyber attack in efficient manner. In the order to improve cyber resilience, mechanisms include the data encryption, network monitoring, and security rules are the essential. Creating measurement and indicator to evaluate an organization readiness and efficient is a necessary step in quantifying cyber resilience. The future of cyber resilience depends on combining the cutting-edge technology like blockchain, machine learning, and artificial intelligence, while tackling issues brought on by the expanding threat landscape. Building a robust cybersecurity ecosystem require cooperation, information exchange, and financial investment in cyber security education. Organization can confidently transfer the future and build a safe digital environment by embracing development, taking preventive action, and encourage cooperation. Next section about the introduction. The introduction highlight the growing relevance of cyber resilience into the digital environment. It emphasizes the need for organizations to improve their capacity to resize and recover from the cyber assault to the increasing threat of cyber attack. Next section about we're talking about the current cyber situation. The current cyber situation is characterized by a significant and increasing challenge for organization and individual in the face of cyber threat. The need for effective cyber resilience measure has become evident due to the constant rise in cyber attack. Various cyber threats target sensitive data, critical infrastructure, and financial resource, making organization and individual more vulnerable. And the conclusion about the current cyber situation, organization may be better prepared themselves to deal with the changing trend landscape and they maintain the long-term security and resilience of their system by being aware of this potential future scenario. It is crucial to highlight it. His document does not offer a comprehensive list of the fix or suggestion. Instead, in the attempt to give a true assessment of the state of cyber resilience, allowing company to dedicate wisely and create custom plan based on the requirement and circumstance. In the current cyber situation, to the quickly changing digital environment, activities, and then the risk environment is applied by software flow. And then several note about development in the field of cyber attack have development in the recent year. Ransomware assault, which attacker encrypt victim data and demand ransom payment in exchange for its description, are one such a trend. Cyber criminals have found that the assault are quite profitable and that the target frame have suffered. We're talking about the cyber resilience. Cyber resilience is referred to organization ability to resist, respond to, and recover from the cyber attack or the other cyber incident while maintaining the continuity of its operation. It involves implementing a comprehensive framework that encompasses various components such as a threat identification, protection, detection, response, and recovery. In the cyber resilience, we know the cyber resilience landscape is constantly evolving due to the changing threat landscape and the development of advanced attack methods. Organizations must continuously update their defense, invest in the threat intelligence, and conduct a comprehensive security evaluation to stay ahead of cyber threat. Collaboration and knowledge exchange among diverse stakeholders, including academic institutions, government agency, and international organizations, are also essential to address the challenge and share best practice. we're talking about the cyber resilience in the future. In the future, we expect it to undergo significant development and advancement to address the evolving threat landscape and emerging technology. One key area of development is the integration of real-time threat intelligence and proactive defensive mechanism by leveraging technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, and blockchain. Organizations can enhance their ability to detect and respond to cyber threat in the real time. In the future, collaboration and knowledge and exchange among diverse stakeholders will continue to be crucial in addressing this challenge. Partnership with academic institutions, government agency, and international organizations. It is not to enabling Orient to stay ahead of the new risks. Overall, the future of cyber resilience will involve leveraging emerging technology, strengthening defense, fostering collaboration, and investing in education and training to ensure a secure digital future. And the conclusion about my paper, the conclusion of the paper highlight the importance of cyber resilience in today's digital environment and the need for organizations to improve their capacity to resist and recover from cyber attack. It emphasized the cyber threats have become more sophisticated and complex, requiring organizations to continuously adopt and enhance their cyber resilience strategy. This paper discusses various components of cyber resilience, including the identification, protection, detection, response, and recovery. Okay, and effective security measures such as data encryption, network monitoring, and security rules are also highlighted as crucial in minimizing cyber threat. Okay, and cyber resilience is a dynamic condition that calls for ongoing monitoring and adjustment. We can increase cyber resilience and build a more security digital future by remaining educated, putting in place strong framework, utilizing emerging technology, and encouraging cooperation. Cyber resilience is a constant challenge due to changing threat landscape. Ransomware and other advanced methods of breaching defense are constantly being developed by attacker. Organization must frequently upgrade. Okay, thank you everyone. This is my presentation. Yeah, next to question. Thanks.
Yes, Mohammed, this is your, what are you doing? Are you doing MTech or PhD research?
I'm not as the master degree student.
Okay, master degree student.
I'm master degree student in Telkom University.
For?
In my research about the cyber resilience framework in the critical infrastructure.
Okay, so you have identified what are all the components of your framework that you want to work upon? Or this is just review of literature paper where you have reviewed all type of.
Sorry, you asking me to identify about the domain or something?
Yes, yes. Have you identified the domain and the other components that you will be using for your further research? In future, what you want to go for? Like you have presented all the things, conclusion you have written. Can you come to your conclusion slide?
Okay, wait a minute. Okay. My research talking about the cyber security framework, such as I'm the merger about the cyber resistance, cyber defense, and cyber resilient.
Okay.
I call my framework is cyber security paradigm. And the main indicator typical include in the cyber resilience framework in my research about the threat identification, protection, detection, reaction, recovery, risk assessment, incident response, staff training, security policy, collaboration, and backup recovery. Example, we know about the threat identification. In the my indicator or domain include the threat identification like the number of detected cyber threat with a specific period, complexity level of identified threat, analysis of threat over time. Next, about the protection in the my domain and indicator about the protection include the effectiveness of firewall and intrusion detection system usage, level of data encryption employed, frequency of security awareness training for employee. This is my answer about your question.
Okay, thank you. That's all from my side. If any other participants want to ask or other session chair, anybody left for the presentation?
No, ma'am. We are forwarding toward the closing remarks.
Okay.
I sincerely thank our author for their excellent presentation and contribution in this session, and all our participants for being a part of International Conference. I hope this session was informative enough. We, on behalf of the whole team, thank you for the support during the seventh version and all the previous six versions of the conference. We will be happy to see you in the eighth version in 2024. All the presenter would be getting their digital certificates through email within 2 working days. Further, all the paper have already forwarded to Springer. Publication will be live within 6 months. Kindly cooperate with the team of World S4 2023. Ma'am, will you be so kind to give some remarks to enrich this session?
Yes, thank you, Ayush. Yes, all the papers which were presented during this session, this I think achieved all the objectives of the session. It includes all the papers on cyber security, cyber attack, what solutions we can provide to improvise these systems. So I think presenters have presented very well, and I wish all of them all the best for their future work, and I hope they will again present their papers in the next conference. All the best to all of you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for chairing the session. A token of appreciation for you on behalf of Team World S4 2023 and Global Knowledge Research Foundation and partner. Thank you for your valuable presence. Dear all, I kindly request to switch on your camera for a quick snapshot. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you, GR team and all the organizers. Thank you, Ayush.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.